Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we bring you a special guest, Dr. Brototo Deb.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Brototo, and I am a research scholar in the Division of Gastroenterology in a leading uh, hospital here in the US. And
Welcome.
today I'm
Thank you for being with us here, Dr. Deb. And we understand that you have prepared this presentation for our viewers to understand where we are in terms of COVID-19 vaccine. So please walk us through what you have researched and what you want to share with our viewers.
Thank you. Pleasure to. So today I'm going to speak about Operation Warp Speed, which is the public-private partnership initiated by the federal government of the United States to facilitate and accelerate the development, manufacturing, and distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. And today, in my presentation, I'm going to focus on the COVID-19 vaccine. And, and as you know, since this happened and Sputnik vaccine came out, and the Operation Warp Speed is something which needs to speed up. So, but looking at the broader picture, this is the current scenario as of 13th August with regards to how many vaccines are there out there. So there are 29 vaccines in clinical evaluation, 138 in preclinical evaluation, and I'll get to what these individually mean in later slides. And there are two approved ones, one which is approved for emergency use in the Chinese military, as well as one which was recently approved by the Russian government. And so, what do vaccines contain? You know that vaccines give us immunity without causing infection. So what it contains is, it contains a very small part of the virus. So it can range from the genetic material of the virus, which could be RNA/DNA, to a particular protein which is found in the virus coat. And as you know, that COVID-19's envelope has many spike proteins which actually cause the infection and it helps the virus to get into the cell and then cause the infection. So it could range from that genetic material which is present deep inside the virus to the small spike proteins which are present on the surface. And as you can see on the right side, most of the vaccines which are being developed, most of them contain these small proteins, and a few percentage of them also contain other materials like genetic material, because those are easily manufactured rather than proteins which take a lot more resources to be manufactured. And we are dealing with this in a multi-pronged approach, such that all of these are being developed simultaneously, and then so that we have many more choices when it finally gets approved. So why does vaccine development take time? So this slide will kind of walk you through the development of a vaccine, right from the time where the idea is conceived to the time when it is distributed all throughout the world. So first thing that we see is the researchers in the lab, they finally think that they decide upon this particular target, as I said in the previous slide, and then they do in vitro testing, and that is done, in vitro testing is done, and then you would also test it on for certain cell cultures, and then you would test it on some animals like transgenic mice, Syrian hamsters, or non-human primates. So that it's closest to the human beings as possible. And then once you find that these studies, this is known as the preclinical evaluation. And once you get considerably good results in them, then you move on to the clinical evaluation. And the clinical evaluation has phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 clinical trials, which I'll get to in the next slide. And once the vaccine passes through all of these stages, and it finally goes into the distribution mode. So, and during which we would have to scale up the manufacturing of that vaccine, and also find out how we are going to supply it such that everyone in the world can get it at that time, right? And I know that all these stages of the vaccine development are happening together in case of COVID-19, so that whenever we have the approved vaccine in hand, we don't have to worry about its manufacturing. And that is where we are trying to pool in money so that once it is approved, it's ready to go to be given to the rest of the world, right? So I'll go to the clinical trials here, which is the most time-taking part of the vaccine development. And that is because we want to make sure that the vaccine that is being distributed is, is not only effective, but also safe. And the reason I stress upon the safe word is because since you're going to give this vaccine to most of the population, and your denominator is going to be like your numerator, sorry, is going to be like millions of people, and at that time you need this vaccine to be extremely safe, so that even if that happens in 1% of the population, finally the number of people having that side effect is less. So this is the most crucial part, and this is why we cannot make haste as to this step, and we have to ensure the safety of the vaccine. So how is this done? The first phase of the vaccine generally takes 20 to 100 healthy volunteers, and that is mostly geared towards to see if the vaccines work, to see if there are any serious side effects, and how much dose needs to be given of the particular vaccine so that it has the desired effect. The second phase is when you you recruit several hundred volunteers, and that stage is where you look for short-term side effects, and you see if the immune systems are responding to that vaccine and producing the antibodies that you need. In the phase three, which is the most crucial one, is where we recruit hundreds or thousands of volunteers, and this is to see if the vaccine is safe, importantly, also effective, and also to see if there are some long-term side effects of the vaccine as well. And the FDA licenses the vaccine only when it is safe, effective, and it passes through all these stages. And of course, all this takes time, and that is why we see on this slide how vaccine development takes time. And here I've tried to compare it with some other vaccines. And if you can follow through from the lowest part of the slide, the polio vaccine took 60 years. The Ebola vaccine took almost 15 years. But if you look at this, the first clinical trial to the first time it got to people was 4 years. And then SARS-CoV-1, 17 years, MERS, 6 years. And we are trying to rush this entire process so that we have a vaccine in 12 to 18 months, which is unprecedented. And the fastest vaccine, though, which has still come out, is the mumps vaccine, I guess, which is for 4 years, which took 4 years to come out. So we are really in a very big time crunch, and I think we could only do as much, right? And so focusing a bit more on SARS-CoV-2, which is the important matter at hand. So where does each of the candidate vaccines stand? So the leading here, as far as the US is concerned, is the one on this part of the slide, which are again, there are protein vaccines. And all of them, if you look on the slide in a bird's eye view, you would see that most of them would at least take end of 2020 or early 2021 for them to come out. So I think the best estimate that we could get out of this is March 2021, perhaps, is when we would get the vaccine in hand and ready to go. More updated and this information is continually updated. And on this particular site by the WHO, where it kind of gives you an information about where each vaccine is standing right now. Not only that, it also gives you information as to if you wanted to participate in this particular trial, you could also use those links to get into those sites and enroll yourself into those trials as well. So this is a very helpful resource that you can check out. And so meanwhile, the most important thing that I encourage every one of us to follow is to follow social distancing and to wear masks, because that has really been found to be helpful in preventing infection. And here I have enlisted my reference, which is a review published in the Frontiers of Pharmacology, which kind of gives you a brief description as to what are the various steps in the vaccine development, and it kind of looks at the COVID vaccines as well. And here are my social media handles in case you wanted to follow and you like this talk and you wanted to follow me. Over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Brototo. This is fantastic. Just a disclaimer to our viewers that neither Dr. Brototo Deb nor I are involved in any vaccine development as well, nor do we have any conflict of interest. We just prepared and brought this presentation to you to shed a little bit more light in general public's eye, as well as our healthcare providers who doesn't have time to look through the literature. And we are very thankful that Dr. Brototo Deb has done that for us, and hopefully we'll bring him back as the more information comes soon, and we'll try to record one more video. Meanwhile, please do follow Dr. Brototo Deb on Twitter as well as on LinkedIn. Write in comments what you liked about this video, what thoughts you have, what comments you have. Please do follow and like our channel, and we'll be happy to bring Dr. Brototo Deb and other experts as time gets by. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again, Dr. Brototo Deb.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kashyap.